Boys, we f***ed ourselves good here. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Shoot More. If you're new, welcome. If you've seen some of the other content and you're not yet subscribed, go ahead and hit that button right now. Today we've got a match from October at Twisted Barrel Precision, and admittedly it's easier to share these match videos when I do well, and this is not one of those instances. Just from the very beginning, I was having really hard time getting like mentally locked into what I was supposed to be doing. Made a couple mistakes throughout the day about engaging targets in the wrong order or not enough times, which then threw me out of sequence. So I was just battling mental issues, mental fatigue most of the day. On top of that, my rifle was not shooting well at all. Some of the stages, the dope was high. Some of the stages, the dope was low. Combine that with typical twisted winds, it made for a really challenging day. And as the day goes on, I have progressively less and less confidence in my rifle and in my equipment. For me personally, like having confidence in my rifle is number one. And once that starts to go, I might as well pretty much pack it up for the day because I'm not going to perform my best. So that's probably something that I need to work at and get better at, because these things happen, right? Not every day is going to be perfect. You're going to have issues. And I think what separates the people that consistently win or consistently place well is that they don't let things like this throw them for a loop, right? They've got processes, they work through their issues, they do the best that they can. I'm still working through that. So when it's good, it's great. When it's bad, it's terrible. So I think that pretty much covers it for right now. Let's go ahead and jump into the footage and we'll kind of run through some of the specifics. We started off on stage 4 rooftop. It's 2 positions, left side and then right side, near then far, farther near. It's 2 targets per position. You have to shoot them in the opposite order on the second position. Start off with my bipod not set correctly. Normally I would have bagged this stage, but in some of the practice I've really been working on trying to get more stable and then working on some of that bipod technique. So this was one of those stages that I really worked on using a bipod versus just a bag. Once I got it set up, everything was great. Rocking that double pole, I unlocked the pivot so that I was able to pan on the targets without too much of an issue. Normally, if I would have ran the Atlas, it would have been a little bit more difficult to rotate the rifle side to side to pan, I guess is the right term. Because it would just bind up, the feet wouldn't slide. But having that ability to unlock the pan on that double pole in a situation like this is great. Overall, do pretty well here. I drop 1 there. I'm shooting dirty on the parallax at this point because I know that I'm starting to cut it a little bit close on time. I do have a timer that does save me at a couple of different points in this match. I don't know that I would say save me, but just allowed me the opportunity to know where I was on the clock and either speed up or slow down accordingly. So, on to the next.
Well, I heard a timer. I guess you got one too?
Yeah. That's for low. Thank you. Alright, stage 5, logs and tank traps. This is where we start to see dope issues. I wouldn't even call it dope issues. I break the first shot, waterline on the target, it hits the very bottom. Immediately I start thinking, okay, what's going on? I know I ranged it. I ranged both targets. I know I updated the environmentals. What's the deal? And I'm focusing so much on trying to see where the elevation is that I'm not paying attention to the wind, end up setting one off the side. So I'm pretty frazzled at this point. move on to tank traps, try to collect myself, build up a good position, break the shot, and then the RimX has been doing what it's been doing recently. It doesn't like ejecting Eley cases. I don't know what has changed. It just started doing this within the last probably 200 or 300 rounds. I've replaced the ejector, the little claw ejector. It didn't help. I ended up ordering the Eley specific extractor from Zermatt, and it fixed the problem after the match. Dump one off the right, it looked low. I know something's wrong. Don't know what. Try to think through it mentally before we totally throw the rest of the match.
No, that's not. I don't know what's going on with this gun.
Your first, you see that first?
Yeah, bad low. Bad low.
Alright, stage 6. It's a truck. You gotta take up a position in the bed. 3 shots, 1 target. Move to the hood. 4 shots, 1 target. Important there. And then move back to the outside of the bed to wrap it up with 3 final shots at the same target. Been practicing in the truck bed a little bit, trying to figure out where on the rail is the most stable. I've kind of settled on the outside corner because it's boxed. There's a little bit more support, so it doesn't have as much flex. Get my impacts there, roll to the front. Really struggling mentally to just lock in and remember what I'm supposed to do. I even wrote out this fancy little card with the positions and how many shots I was supposed to take per position. I take the 3rd shot and move. Supposed to take 4, so I'm now out of order. So this was technically a miss, and now I'm back where I'm supposed to be. So I technically have 1 more shot that I'm supposed to take.
I wasn't counting.
I count the mag. I realize I still have 1 shot to take. Throw the mag back in. I still have time. Get back on target. Break shot. It didn't matter. We ended up pretty much trying to figure out, like, okay, current rules. What would have counted as impacts? What wouldn't have? I think we ended up having me drop 2 here. My philosophy with this stuff is like I shouldn't have made the mistake to begin with, and if I didn't, then we wouldn't have to worry about where was I out of order, how many points did I technically drop, etc. And now for the worst stage of the day, what I thought would have been the easiest, stage 7 blocks. 3 positions, you have to engage targets in different orders. My dope was like 3/10 high. Don't know why. Range the target. I see that it's high, I see that it's going over, so I take 1/10, maybe 2/10, I don't remember, out of the dope, and then shoot the wrong target because I'm out of order.
Just kidding.
Getting pretty frustrated at this point. Try to like get myself centered back in, but then we have another case issue. Work through that. Get back on target. And we're still trending high. Over the target. I'm aiming a little bit lower, but I'm not trusting what I'm seeing. Because on the previous stage, 2 stages ago, my dope was low. Now my dope's high. What's going on? These are all the thoughts that are going through my head. Over the top. Over the top. Also, probably windage on the last one.
They were all high. They were all over the top. And I took a 10th out.
Wasn't enough. So I'm
Wonderful.
pretty confused at this point. 3/10 low. Hit the target.
That's solid. That was 2/10 under. I don't know.
So at this point in the day, I'm out. I know I'm out, and I'm like trying to like get my head back in it to at least have fun, because that's the whole point of this, right? Is to have fun. So I'm like, I'm gonna at least get some practice in. So I decided to try tripod rear, and we'll just watch. I'm too high. I try to adjust it lower. I go, this is not working.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Probably could have put in the bag of the front of the rifle on top of that post. Didn't even think about it. I kind of give up. I said, we're done. Let's go to what we know. Get rid of the tripod, get rid of the front bag, and we're just going to roll with it.
There's a family of coons up there at 300. So
That was like 4/10 low. Comes back up. I have no idea what's going on with the scope. It is throwing me for a loop.
Yeah.
looked like Windows was good.
Impact. 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 Impact.
Drop two. So that's how you do not run tack table rear? Okay.
Oh, okay.
Hey, you gotta figure out how not to run it sometimes.
It was too high.
Too high.
This, we needed this. This was a good stage for us. Stage 10, Stonehenge, 2 positions. You have to clear the KYL in each position. Pretty straightforward. Take my time, build a solid position. It's at 50 yards. Trying to get a good understanding of what the wind's doing. Giving the targets time to settle, because we've got plenty of time. Making sure we're making good trigger pulls. Based on what I'm seeing here, my zero's not the problem. But I still have that thought in the back of my head about like, what is going on with this dope? Stage 1, rocks and pipes. We are up on the other part of the range now, so the wind has changed pretty dramatically. 2 targets, 98, 154 yards, 1 shot each, 5 total positions. Engaged first target with a hit. And then I don't hold enough for the second target. It was supposed to be like 2.7. I think I only held like 2. Move positions, restable myself. I'm trying to position the rifle and the bag on the pipe so that I don't have to put a bunch of pressure into it. It's naturally on target, making sure we have a good natural point of aim, because those pipes are pretty bouncy when it's warm, and you can see that in the trigger cam footage. But we find it. This was one of our better stages, and this was something that a lot of guys struggled with. You can see we're kind of trying to time the shot with the bounce there. We end up making a good hit on target. We remember to hold, make a good hit. Wind has died pretty substantially here. And now we're shooting from rocks. We're pretty stable. I think we only dropped 1 this stage.
Back. 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 Stand back. Good job, John. Got you for time.
Thank you. Stage 2, Leupold Barricade. 4 positions, 1 target, 127 yards. And you have to engage it with a different amount of rounds from each position. It's 3 rounds, 2 rounds, 3 rounds, 2 rounds. The wind is doing the thing where it will pick up and then die off in the middle of the stage here. So it's trying to get the shots off quickly after you've built a solid position, so the conditions are consistent, but also making sure that you've got a good read on that initial shot when you've changed positions, so you're not wasting one. I think this is the position where we have the wind die on us. Impact. Impact. That would have been centered, and then it dumps off left. Just off left. Change to the last position for the final two shots. We center up on the target for good hits. I'm done at this point. I've had a pretty bad day. I have zero confidence in the rifle. I want to be done with the match, and then my goal after this is to go shoot paper and figure out what's going on. So my head's not here. It's not in what I'm doing, and that's not good. You know, you should finish strong. But it's kind of like what I mentioned about at the beginning of this video. I think the guys that consistently place well do better at keeping their head in the game in these kinds of situations.
Back. And back. And back. Pretty good dust going right now. And back. How long did he get that?
So why was the rifle so inconsistent? I'm shooting the same lot of Tenex that I've been shooting this entire season. I went and took the rifle to a 100-yard target board immediately after, and I will put up pictures here. So this is the first group that I shot, and you can see it's horrible for a rifle of what's supposed to be this caliber, right? And then I got to thinking, I removed a spacer in the butt pad in an attempt to remove some weight from the rifle, because I'm trying to get the weight down. And in doing so, I, reinstalled the butt pad, but I didn't check the eye relief. And I definitely did not have the butt pad out far enough to have the same eye relief that I had with how the rifle was set up beforehand. This is important because if you guys have not shot through a trigger cam before, it is like shooting through a tunnel. Basically, take a red solo cup, cut out the bottom, and hold it up to your eye. And that's what it looks like when you're trying to shoot through a trigger cam. It gives you like a very tunnel vision effect. Normally, you would be able to see if you are not centered in the scope, right? Because you would see the black shadows on, whichever side, kind of telling you that you're not optically center. You lose a lot of that when you're shooting with a trigger cam. It hasn't been an issue up until this point because the rifle was set up correctly, I think. For me, it was consistent. My mount was consistent. But in removing this spacer and then not checking the eye relief with the trigger cam off, I'm thinking what happened was I was introducing a much higher level of parallax error, and that's why the dope was so inconsistent. High, low, left, right. If I was not 100% consistent mounting the rifle each time, that could introduce error either way. That's the best I can come up with. I, at that point, reset the length of pull. I pulled the trigger cam off. I made sure the eye relief is good. And I've not had any problems like this since. So as best I can tell, that was what was happening. Does it make sense? Yeah, I think so. I'm slowly gaining that confidence back in the rifle, which is really unfortunate because it's the end of the year and we had a finale at Benton last weekend, which you guys will see that video next weekend. And then day after tomorrow, the 25th, we actually have our Arkansas series finale. It's supposed to storm all day, so I don't think that I'm going to end up recording that. It's likely going to end up being like a Two Rivers Day Part 2 kind of thing, but like Rimfire version. So, well, in terms of weather anyway. But yeah, I think that's kind of where we sit right now. I pulled the trigger cam off. I reset the eye relief. I've been shooting groups with it. It's been very consistent. It is back to shooting how it's supposed to shoot and how it is shot all year. I'm calling it fixed until it gives me a reason otherwise. So yeah, lesson learned. If you change anything that has to do with how you interact with the rifle, make sure you take the time to double check that it hasn't impacted length of pull, eye relief, etc. I should have known that pulling the spacer off probably would have messed something up. Like it's a very simple thing, right? But simple things are easy to overlook. So I think that's going to do it for today. Not my best showing for sure, but hey, we're here to learn. We're here to get better. They can't all be good matches. Sometimes you just got to learn some lessons. I appreciate you guys watching. If you have any questions, let me know, and I will catch you on the next one.